Thank you, David. Lions chasing a playoff spot. The Stampeders trying to clinch first. It's the fourth and final regular season clash between Calgary and BC at McMahon. And a good night for football. Under the lights on a Friday night. Temperature 6 degrees and the wind won't be a factor.
Henry Burris is playing in his 101st game as a Calgary Stampeder. Has 61 wins during that time, including a big one last week versus Saskatchewan in hostile territory. Travis Lulay for the BC Lions, 1-5 as a starter, but is progressing. You look at that loss against Edmonton in overtime, completed over 75% of his passes in that one.
Wally Bono's Lions are the only visiting team to win a game here at McMahon, but they need a few more wins in the race for third in the West, battling against Edmonton, while John Hufnagel's team has won 2 of 3 against the Lions and 1 more win, and they know they're hosting the Western Final.
Calgary Stampeders really have to fight against looking past BC here in complacency. They've played 3 tough opponents in Montreal and Saskatchewan over the last 3 weeks.
And the Stamps will have a little burr in their saddle after losing 29-10 4 weeks ago against BC. We're underway, and it will be Giannis Davis not reaching the 35-yard line. The cover team fired up for the Calgary Stampeders, led by Mark Caliste. So Travis Lulay gets set to go to work. It's his 4th straight start and his 2nd start against Calgary.
Well, he's inexperienced. We all know that. And the BC Lions can benefit if they can give Travis Lulay some help with Jamel Robertson at running back. Geroy Simon over 1,000 yards, the 8th time consecutive that he has done that. And there's the offensive line with Javon Olaforoye playing left tackle. He's the 3rd left tackle the Lions have tried this year.
First down, here they come. Lulay gets it away, looking deep, but he's got a man. And it's complete to Stephen Black, who tries to spin off Keon Raymond. It's still going. It's still going. And finally, he'll be dropped at the 12-yard line. What a start for the BC Lions as Lulay hooks up with Stephen Black, and it's a 65-yard play.
Travis Lulay with great recognition to see blitz coming and be able to know one thing. He doesn't have enough in there to protect. He's going to have a free player. He's got to take a hit, but he recognizes the blitz, and he lets his receiver and Stephen Black run underneath it. Tremendous recognition for Travis Lulay right out of the gate.
And Brandon Smith, defensive halfback or the Stampeders, shaken up on the play. 8th game for Stephen Black, and he has made an impact in this Lions offense.
Well, great sign for BC fans to see their inexperienced quarterback, who, as I mentioned, is progressing. His last 3 games completed over 60% of his passes. He is starting to get settled in. There's a comfort level that is being created because he's getting that much more playing time, but that is recognition of blitz. He knows Calgary likes to be aggressive defensively and makes a big play in the passing game.
Be some concern on that sidelines. Brandon Smith missed all of last year with a left knee injury. Hard to tell exactly what happened on that. But Smith to the sidelines. Brandon Isaac comes in, and the BC Lions are 1st and 10. At the Calgary 11, short drop. Lulay steps up. He'll take off. And Travis Lulay has a touchdown. 2 plays, and the Lions have the opening touchdown of the game.
When you play against a blitzing team, a team that likes to play aggressively defensively, there is opportunities for big plays, and Travis Lulay finds that big play right out of the gate, recognizes blitz, hits Stephen Black, and 1 play later uses his running ability to get in the end zone.
Makes Corey Mace miss. The 11-yard touchdown run after the 65-yard pass to Black. And the Lions are out of the gate. Paul McCallum.
This young quarterback, just his 7th start.
They didn't get a great.
Can pick up the blitz that quickly.
Second first possession touchdown for the BC Lions this year. And here comes Dion Murphy on the return. Flag down as Murphy tries to get outside, and he'll get taken down at the 32. But again, a flag down on the Murphy return.
It should take any return from.
Holding on the return. Calgary, number 44. It's 10-yard penalty. Becomes first down.
That's Justin Phillips, and it really backs up the Stamps on their first possession.
Let me show you that recognition again. There's Wes Lysak right here. That's the guy that Travis Lulay has to see and notice pick up. He's going to come on the blitz. So he knows one thing, there's no safety in the middle. Now when you run that play, Keon Raymond is going to get one-on-one with Tristan Black and gave him the middle of the field.
So let's see how the Stampeders respond. They want to establish Joffrey Reynolds early after the big game in Saskatchewan last week. Reynolds running for 124 yards and a pair of touchdowns.
One thing you know is that the BC Lion defense will be focusing in on number 21, who had a 100-yard game, his 31st last week of his career against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. There's Nick Lewis, leader in yards after the catch. And the offensive line with one change. Stanley Bryant plays for Edwin Harrison at right tackle.
Starting lineup brought to you by Rona, proud sponsor of the CFL. Rona doing it right. Edwin Harrison out for the rest of the year at right tackle, 2nd and 8. And that pass knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Looked like Adam Leonard got his mitts on it. And a 2-and-out and a perfect Lion start.
Well, it starts on first down because the Lions scored for over 300 yards against Edmonton along the ground. They get Henry Burris in a 2nd and long, force him into throwing the football from his own 5-yard line. And you're right, Adam Leonard, well, he almost intercepted that.
Check. So they force the 2-and-out. Davis awaits at his own 50, and Birkdale's will kick it away. Short kick. Bouncing, and Davis let it bounce a long way inside the 40, and a flag. So Birkdale's with a big boot, 56 yards, and a flag on the play as well. After a no yards penalty charged against Charleston Hughes, Lions take over at their own 50-yard line. 4th meeting of the year. And the BC Lions have been held to under 300 net yards in the previous 3 meetings, but they're off to a quick start on offense tonight. Fake to Robertson, and the pass over the head of the intended target, Emmanuel Arsenault.
Defensively, Calgary Stampeders without Devon Claybrooks in the lineup because of a Canadian ratio issue. They put Corey Mason the inside with Robert McCune back at rush end and Juwan Simpson back at middle linebacker. McCune started last week in the middle. It'll be Simpson tonight, and in the secondary, who does Brandon Browner cover tonight?
Pitched the shutout against Andy Fantuz last week. 2nd and 10. Stamp drop off. Lulay gets it away, and he's got Paris Jackson wide open for a first down, and a late flag. Lions were calling for it as Jackson had stepped out and still took a hit.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Calgary, number 27. It's a 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
To answer the question as to who is Brandon Browner covering tonight, it looks like it will be Paris Jackson, and we had the feelings that it might be. He's working with Geroy Simon at the short side of the field. This time Brandon Browner is going to drop Simon and then break on it. You can see he steps out of bounds there, and Brandon Browner still with the hit.
So a 2nd down conversion catch for Jackson, 15 more, and now Stephen Black looked like he was offside. They're allowing the Lions to regroup. Charleston Hughes with pressure out of the backfield. Robertson with a good catch, but step for step, Juwan Simpson. And what a difference he'll make back in the Stampeder lineup.
Brandon Browner this time is going to match up on Geroy Simon. You know, when you come in, you think of the last 3 weeks. Brandon Browner played against Andy Fantus, as you mentioned. Before that, 2 games against the Montreal Alouettes. He played against Jamel Richardson in both of those games. Now, I know Geroy Simon, as confident as he is, would love this matchup and the challenge. Looks like Browner might get it.
Little change up though, because Browner said, I'm handling Paris Jackson tonight. Apparently not. Here's Lule scrambling around, takes off, big hole. And Travis Lule slides feet first for another BC first down at the Calgary 18. 16 for Lule, who has an 11-yard touchdown run.
His last 3 games, he has 157 yards rushing, including over 60 in the overtime loss to the Edmonton Eskimos. This is one thing that Travis Lule can do very well. And this is the matchup, and boy, this will be fun to watch tonight, folks. Geroy Simon, if this is where we're going to lock it up against Brandon Brown.
First down, handoff Robertson straight ahead, and he plows to the 13. You know, it has 6 more.
Calgary Stampeders, Chris, have looked to that matchup mostly because of body type. And Brandon Browner, who is big at 6'3", Chris Jones likes to see him up against the big receivers like Andy Fantus, Jamel Richardson. That's why there was a thought and talk over the last couple of days that it may be a Paris Jackson or Emmanuel Arsenal and not Geroy Simon, but that's not the case. So far tonight, Browner's been on Simon for the most part.
Second and 4. Lule looking for Simon, and that ball was complete behind him and almost by him before Simon was out of his break.
And you know, you're going to take a look at Geroy Simon now doing his thing and route running against Browner. He's in the he's in the slot back position. Watch him double move here. He's going upfield, fake there, again fake. And I think that second one threw Travis Lule off. 2 moves here. He goes up, one little jab step there, and then another to try and get some separation on the out route. And that second move, I think, threw his quarterback.
So after 2 weeks of Sean White, the second unscheduled, Paul McCallum back, and from 20 yards out, Paul McCallum puts through another. He's 36 of 40 on the year. 6:38 into this game. At home, they're down by 10.
And what was impressive with Calgary last week is that even though they were down 14 early, they stuck with the running game, and it ended up paying off for them as the game wore on.
McCallum boots it, and here comes Dion Murphy. And Murphy up across the 25-yard line.
Mentioned the 60 yards rushing for Travis Lule a week ago. That's one thing young quarterbacks will lean on. They'll look for the first and maybe even the second receiver. If they're not there, they'll take off and run. That's his first touchdown on the first series, and then a big run to keep the second series alive.
Ricky Ray has inspired running quarterbacks everywhere. Ray with 135 against the Lions last week.
Yeah, that's what interesting to watch their run defense tonight. You know they want to bounce back from over 300.
The Burris to work. Play fake, pressure, and Nick Lewis across midfield. And it's still going down to the Lion 43. What a year for Nick Lewis. His 75th catch of the season.
3 options for Henry Burris on this play. He can go to option number 1, which is his running back right here. Option number 1. So you freeze it there. Number 2 is for him to run, and number 3 will be Nick Lewis over to the right of your screen. As he gets outside now, he's got the pass option, and he finds Nick Lewis and makes a tough throw look pretty routine.
38 for Lewis, who went over 1,000 last week. First down, Robbie Bryant's got a catch. Trying to shake David Highland, and he'll be bumped out at the BC 34-yard line. Robbie Bryant closing in on 1,000 as well.
Let's take a look at that BC Lion defense, because there are a couple of changes, not necessarily in the D-line, where Brent Johnson's still among the team leaders in sacks as a veteran of that group. Solomon Elamimian, a lot of talk about him this week in the middle linebacker spot, who's actually down on a knee right now. The training staff have to come and look at him. Tad Crawford now at safety is back in. He missed 3 games when David Highland moved into the safety spot. Davis Sanchez is injured, so David Highland moves to corner, and Tad Crawford back at safety.
Highland was a corner in college. We'll see how he adapts, and I know you're interested in seeing how Tad Crawford plays coming back now as the confidence shaken after being benched for 3.
Talking to Baron Miles, the guy who's a lock for the Canadian Football Hall of Fame, and getting coached up. You're right. Tad Crawford, when he started early in the year, played cautiously. He didn't want to make a mistake. He was out there playing that free safety spot to not make a mistake. He's a cerebral guy. He's a smart player. He wanted to be safe, and being safe got him a spot on the bench when they put David Highland out there at free safety the last 3 games. I'd be real interested to see if Tad Crawford now says, okay, if that's the result of playing safe, then I better play a little more aggressively. And David Sanchez is gone for the season, so they're going to need him to play aggressively.
Drew Tate checks in on 2nd and short yardage, and Drew Tate plunges for ball popped loose apparently. The Lions indicating ball was loose and flagged down. Well, Tate's got the football. Was there some early movement on that Calgary line or not? We'll find out from Bud Steen.
Offside. BC number 94. 5-yard penalty. Becomes first down.
That's a newcomer to the BC defensive line, Richard Jones.
BC Lions are having to juggle that linebacking core right now. That's James Jurachuk in at linebacker. They'll move Anton McKenzie from the strong side into middle and play James Jurachuk until Solomon Elamimian can come back if he can.
Of course, that line defense scorched for 346 rushing yards last week. And Joffrey Reynolds will try and capitalize on that as he cuts inside the 25 down to the 23.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Ricky Ray and the running game of Edmonton. How about this potential here with Joffrey Reynolds and a running quarterback in Henry Burris? I mean, that's why the BC defense has to really shore up that run defense if they want to have success tonight throughout the entire part of this football game, because that's a pretty good combination, Joffrey and Henry.
2nd and 5. And the ball complete. Rapote the catch. And a first down taken down by James Jurachuk in at middle linebacker.
I think it's nice for a lot of Calgary fans to see Rob Cote get the football a little bit, because, you know, last week the Calgary Stampeders had such success running. One of the reasons for it was that Rob Cote was doing a great job of blocking as a tight end or a fullback up on the line of scrimmage. And that's sort of the unsung hero kind of that job, but Cote gets a nice catch there.
10th catch of the year for the Cochrane kid, and it's a first down. And inside, Kenyon Rambo's got a catch. And did the ball pop loose? Stanley Briggs has the football, and the BC Lions come up with it. Well, we saw in the first game of the doubleheader, Montreal early turned it over twice deep in Hamilton territory. And now the Calgary Stampeders do likewise. BC football when we come back. Interesting situation here. Suits, is this a catch and a fumble, or was it ruled an interception? And if it was, did the ball hit the turf, and should it be an incompletion? Don't have a challenge yet.
You can see that the ball, that the hand is not underneath the ball. Now the question would be, did Rambo catch it, then fumble it? Because Franks can recover the fumble even if it hits the ground. I don't think they're going to challenge it.
I would have challenged that as an incomplete pass, but looks like the Lions are getting the turnover. It's official now, and the handoff going nowhere to Jamal Robertson.
Take one more look at that play, because it's just a matter of whether or not you would consider Kenyon Rambo's it a catch and a fumble, or was it incomplete and he never had control. He takes the hit, looks like he has control, ball ripped out there. Now you can see the ball out there. Then it goes to the ground. So I think that's what they ruled. It was basically a catch, a fumble, and a fumble recovery by BC.
Second and 9 from his end zone. Lule stepped up, takes off, running again, and does he have enough for the first down?
Boy, the Calgary Stampeders defensively are going to have to get real discipline in their defensive rush lanes, because right now Travis Lule is starting to gut them through the middle. He's just picking his moments and finding a lane inside.
Big first down run for Travis Lule. Needed 9 and got it.
You see linebacker drop and Tom Johnson outside. There's the lane.
First down BC. Fake to Robertson. Dumped off. And here comes Paris Jackson. And Jackson up across the 30 has another first down out at the 31 of BC.
A nice looking play here where Paris Jackson is going to line up in the backfield, almost like a second back, a fullback. He's right in the backfield. Little play action here, and then Paris Jackson will little change of direction on the defense to try and freeze them in coverage, and that's exactly what it does.
Paris 2 catches, 28 yards. Here early has never had a 100-yard receiving game against Calgary. First down BC, they out of the hole, and Lule going to get down there just across the 35, and a good thing he did.
Jacques Chapdelaine now trying to mix it up a little bit. He's got a little of that change of direction, misdirection with play action to Jamal Robertson, and that little pass out to Paris Jackson. What I like about it is that the BC Lions, if you're a Lions fan, you have to be happy with their blitz recognition and how they've worked on the week against an aggressive Calgary defense with that big play early.
Second and 6. Robertson over the backfield, and he'll be taken out of bounds by Juwan Simpson, short of the first down. Simpson, who missed last week in Saskatchewan with a bruised knee, back at the heart of that Calgary defense.
In the passing game, your running back is often covered by the middle linebacker. And it looked initially like Jamal Robertson might have had outside leverage, but quick close by Juwan Simpson.
Zone McCallum to put the ball away. Good boot. Dion Murphy has to backtrack to his 19. Josh Jesse's there, and Murphy taken down quickly. Also Sean Gorian on the stop. It's a 53-yard kick by McCallum.
A newcomer to the lineup for the Calgary Stampeders is Jesse Lumsden, working here in the special teams with Jason Araki. And it's great to see Jesse Lumsden back in the lineup.
Absolutely. His coach wanted him to get hurt tonight. He said, I want to see him get his nose bloody. And that's the only injury they're hoping for Jesse Lumsden. But great to see him back on the football field in the CFL. First and 10 and a pump, and Kenyon Rambo's got another catch at the Calgary 40-yard line, a first down. Stamps have one 1,000-yard receiver in Lewis, but Bryant and Rambo closing in.
Kenyon Rambo understands with the strength of the arm of Henry Burris that he runs his route timing-wise. He knows he gets right to that sideline, it'll arrive. Henry Burris just sidearm slung it out there.
13 yards. Calgary looked like they were getting a little offensive momentum until the fumble by Rambo deep. Hand off to John Cornish straight ahead, and he's been doing that all season long. Averaging 7.8 yards a carry coming in, and that's a first down run of 13 for Cornish.
You know, and when you think about game 2 against when these two teams played, the second one, he had negative yardage. And when he gets his opportunity, you're right, other than that one game, he has taking advantage of the cutback lane here and a good block downfield by Ben Archibald.
So back-to-back first downs for Calgary. Up at their 53. Back to Cornish. Fumble. Ball is loose. Richard Jones has got it. And it's a foot race to the end zone. And the big man's got some speed. Touchdown, BC. Well, how about that for a CFL debut?
I believe it was Adam Leonard who was going to arrive in the hole from the linebacker spot with a great hit on John Cornish to drive this ball out, and Richard Jones showed the speed of a fleet-footed wide receiver. He just is going to watch Adam Leonard fill the hole here. He steps in, textbook linebacker play, tackles the football, knocks it loose, and Richard Jones is gone.
Shades of Stevie Baggs in the first game of the doubleheader. McCallum the extra point, and the Lions roar out to a 17-0 lead here in the final minute, first quarter.
Hey, that's for you, LaRoe. Hey, be strong in the Lord, baby. You're going to be all right. Hey, boo. Know you out there watching. All glory to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, baby.
Because he's brand new, Chris, and I think the jury will be out on his pass rushing skills, his run defensive skills, but one thing we can say, he's got some speed for a big man at 6'1", 281. What a hit in the hole, first of all, by Adam Leonard. I mean, that's what you call blowing up the run. And here he goes, 280 pounds.
I think Adam Leonard was there in the spot that Elimimian had vacated, shaken up earlier, and he makes an impact. And so does Richard Jones.
These young linebackers of BC have been the talk of the town for a couple of weeks, even though the team has lost a couple in a row in overtime. Solomon Elimimian, a guy that people are talking about as possible Rookie of the Year candidate, and Adam Leonard, your buddies from Hawaii, and now the newcomer Richard Jones gets in on the act.
It's one thing about the Lions, you know, they've had all kinds of trouble this year, but there's a lot of young players. They've got more Rookie of the Year candidates than any other team in the league. And in the last 7 games, you could make a pretty good argument they should be 6-1. But those 2 overtime losses have stained the record. Deion Murphy up across the 35-yard line.
Well, John Huffnagel's been here before. I mean, deja vu from 1 week ago against Saskatchewan when the Riders jumped out to a quick 14-0 lead. And the one thing that John Huffnagel, if you sit down and talk to him any length of time, the word reload, regroup will come up. He'll talk about how his team, no matter what adversity they face, he wants to see them reload. Well, they did it last week. Dominated for 3 quarters after the first. Can they do it again?
Remember, 4 weeks ago it was 29-10. So this Calgary offense has been stymied by BC. A pass over the middle, and no flag. Henry Burris thought there should have been one. Anton McKenzie on the scene, and it goes as an incompletion on the final play of the first quarter. Big one for the BC Lions. Interesting start. Our first quarter numbers are brought to you by Tim Hortons, proud sponsor of the CFL.
And look at that right side column. The Calgary Stampeders just 16 yards rushing. It's a team that last week had over 200 yards rushing against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. BC gave up over 300. That has completely changed. The Lions have come in that first quarter defensively and said, we're going to stop the run. And that's what they've done, including causing a fumble that went for a touchdown.
So they have so far. Are you saying that Calgary should abandon it, or should they stick with it?
No, they have to stick with it because it's part of their game plan, part of what they do. That's what they did last week against Saskatchewan. Down 14-0 early, stuck with the run. In the second, third, and fourth quarter, Joffrey Reynolds and John Cornish got going, and that's how they won that football game.
So it's 2nd and 10 for the Stampeders. Own 36-yard line. And this play does not get off. in the 29-10 loss.
Procedure. Calgary, number 62. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains second out.
That's the newcomer at right tackle for Edwin Harrison, Stanley Bryant.
And East Carolina, and a guy that has been here with Calgary waiting for his opportunity. He gets it now. Edwin Harrison is gone, and you gotta, I guess, give him 1 or 2 of these as he gets used to the snap count and the cadence from Henry Burris.
I was going to say, in the 29-10 loss, the only touchdown Calgary had was in the final minute of the game, 2nd and 10. Burris looking for R.J. Franklin, and the timing on that play was pretty to watch in front of David Highland.
You know, it was great timing, Chris, the throw and catch. It was, though, short by a couple of yards. And David Highland really played it the way you should. I mean, when you're in 2nd and long defensively, and you're gonna give up a little space, say, go ahead and catch the out in front of me. David Highland steps up. He plays off. He doesn't give up a first down. He closes quickly and makes a sure tackle 2-3 yards short.
So Burkdale's on to punt. And at the 21-yard line, Andrew Harris breaks a tackle, and he could run away. Andrew Harris with Burkdale's back, still going. And Eric Fraser will save it. Eric Fraser, the Burnaby native, knocks him out, but a huge return for Andrew Harris, 56 yards.
It is big because, Chris, the punt was pretty good for Burkdale's because he gets Andrew Harris in between the numbers, basically right on the numbers to that far left side of the field. And now Harris tries to get to that wall and eventually does. Watch this dead leg move right here as he just kind of straightens up Burkdale's, the punter, and then picks up some more down the sideline.
Yeah, Juwan Simpson missed downfield, and Andrew Harris makes the most of it, 56 yards. And the Lions continue to make big plays here in the first half. Now they go 2 back. And Lule will set up and look deep. He wants Arsenault. And Dwight Anderson on the coverage makes the play.
Dwight Anderson does not draw the penalty flag here on this deep ball to Arsenault because he looks back. Brandon Browner was one-on-one on G-Roy Simon on the short side, and they're going to put the corner Dwight Anderson now on Emmanuel Arsenault to the field. Now that's where Travis Lule wants to go, but you can see Anderson look back. As he looks back, he avoids the penalty flag. He has his hand on the back but doesn't grab. Well played by Dwight Anderson.
He had a long chat with the official after that. It was almost like he did draw the flag and was arguing, just telling the ref he made a good call or non-call, and that pass is knocked out. Juwan Simpson gets his hand on the football, and it'll be 3rd down.
He's going to show blitz. Juwan Simpson gets right up into the line of scrimmage here. He's going to kind of show blitz and then give Travis Lule a different look. He faced right in there, takes a step up. He knows he's not going to get the sack, so takes a step back and then just times his jump. Impact player back in the lineup, missing from the Calgary lineup a week ago.
Hard to believe that he was a healthy scratch for the final 7 games last year, and now such a key component.
Timeout, BC.
In the Calgary defense, some confusion on the Lions side of things, so they end up burning their timeout.
Couldn't agree more with Juwan Simpson, though. The importance he is. I mean, you're looking at a defensive nominee for outstanding defensive player for Calgary. I know Brandon Browner will probably get some attention and some discussion, but Juwan Simpson, with the degree of difficulty from the position, having to cover, stop the run, he has 7 sacks coming in. All around, tremendous football player.
So McCallum surveying a 39-yarder with Jarius Jackson the holder. And it's just been about automatic for Paul McCallum this year. He nails another and the league expands to 20-0 BC. Jesse Lumsden on the Stampeder return team, and with more, let's join Sarah Orleski on the sidelines.
Well, Chris, Lumsden is making his debut as a Stampeder, and the knock against him has always been that he's injury prone. He hasn't played a full season since entering the league in 2005. It's understandably as a player a description that does not sit well with him. I asked him whether he was nervous or whether or not he was looking forward to getting that first hit out of the way, just to see how the shoulder holds up. Said he wasn't worried about it. Remember, he pointed out that this wasn't an injury that happened just 4 months ago. He's had a year and a half in order to rehab this. I do know, though, that the players on this team are very happy to see him get into the lineup and hope that he will revitalize his career.
That shoulder could push a bobsleigh. 5th at the Olympic Games. And he'll try and clear a hole here for John Cornish. Up to the 35-yard line.
Well, and on that kick return right there, Jesse Lumsden took on a block and found his guy. You got to count down the line, pick up what guy you got to get, go back, regroup, and then get ready to step in. And he puts that shoulder right into Adam Leonard, the linebacker coming in there. But I think there's a lot of people across this country that are just got their fingers crossed that the injury issue is behind him, and because of his great potential, maybe he can stay on the field for a year or two.
Well, this is the start. Maybe we'll see him returning kick soon. Here's Henry Burris. He's got Nick Lewis, and Lewis has some room down that sideline and into BC territory at the Lion 51-yard line.
Now, this looks like a bust in the BC Lion defense, because no way that Nick Lewis should be this wide open. Looks like Stanley Franks is going to drop him, thinking that the corner on the outside, I believe it was David Highland, was supposed to jump out and take him out of the backfield. He doesn't.
You know, that 29-10 loss that we've referred to a couple of times did not include Nick Lewis in the Calgary lineup that day, and probably no coincidence that the Stamps had nothing going offensively. There's a huge hit. The ball came loose. And let's see how they're ruling that, as Rob Cote was really unloaded on.
And it was Tad Crawford from the safety spot who is going to play more aggressively in his second opportunity to start in the middle, because Rob Cote got up quickly, but boy, did he take a big one.
Officials still conferring on whether this is a completion or not.
Starts out at the tight end spot, runs that short corner, and good clean hit.
And it is a catch, and ball pops loose on contact with the ground, and Rob Cote has his second grab of the game and will move the chains, but now Wally Bono wants another look at it as he throws the challenge flag.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised that Wally Bono will take a look at this, because you have to survive contact with the ground and survive impact with the ground and the hit. Now, the hit and the ground are going to come almost at the same time, because the moment Tad Crawford makes the hit, Rob Cote leaves his feet. See, he's up in the air now. He takes the hit. And I was always under the understanding that you have to survive contact with the ground there to rule it as a completion. There's no question that it comes out when he hits the ground. Did he have possession through the air is really what we're looking at.
So the challenge from Wally Bono. I'm just thinking back to the kid.
Is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass. We will review the play.
Just thinking back to the Rambo ruled fumble inside the 5, and did he survive contact? Could again John Huffnagel have challenged that his own player didn't survive contact and it shouldn't have been a catch?
Well, you know, that's why we thought that there may be a challenge at that time from Huffnagel, but it looked like on that one, Rambo had it kind of landed, took a step, and then it was stripped away from him. It looked like that was almost simultaneous. And we slow it down, so that skews the look at it a little bit.
So Jake Ireland has that play to look at and make a determination. After a long scrum, the officials did rule it a catch on the field, but they conferred for quite some time before making the initial decision of a catch.
you know, it's not in cut and dry, and I don't want to be implying that it is that it's that cut and dry, but because if his both feet do hit the ground just before he gets contact from Tad Crawford, if he's in the air and is hit and then lands, I would say, yeah, it's more cut and dry that's incomplete. But this isn't that close because it's closer than that because his feet hit the ground, then he was hit, then he hit the ground and lost the ball. So this could be interesting.
Upon review, the ruling on the field is overturned. It's an incomplete pass. Second down, Calgary on the 51-yard line.
So as you saw,
I think they got it right. You know, you have to survive the impact with the ground and show that you have possession of the ball, and I'm not sure Rob Cote did that. Becomes a big challenge. Depends on what happens on this down.
So it is a second down and 10 at the line 51. Cornish in behind Burris. He releases. Burris looks downfield, and he's got Nick Lewis for another big first down. Whistled to the turf by Stanley Franks. And Lewis comes up looking for a flag, but none on the field.
Nick Lewis is well covered by Stanley Franks, and this is what's called one of those contested catches because Franks gets his hand in there and almost rips it out, but the strong upper body of Nick Lewis, he is going to come in and just steal this football from Stanley Franks, much like Franks stole it from Rambo early on in the game.
Nick Lewis, 3 catches and already 85 yards in the game. Burris wants to go to the air again. Got away from pressure. Looks to the corner. And it's a touchdown. Kenyon Rambo won the battle against Stanley Franks. 27-yard touchdown, Calgary.
Boy, and Henry Burris makes a move that keeps the play alive when he avoids the blitz. Stanley Bryant, number 62, the right tackle, has an issue here coming off the edge. The BC Lions come with pressure. And it looked like it was Karan Williams gets there, but Henry Burris makes a miss and gets the ball out.
So Henry Burris, 32nd touchdown pass of the year, gets Calgary on the board.
Well, there was some chemistry there.
7th touchdown catch of the year for Rambo, who now is at 900 yards on the season. And remember, he missed the first 4 games.
Going to get to 1,000 if it stays healthy.
So the Stamps on the board. The lead is 13. And Andrew Harris has had a big punt return. Is not going down. Up across the 40 with some extra yards after first contact.
Well, this is some great textbook receiver one-on-one stuff from Kenyon Rambo. First the route. He's going to go down and push Stanley Franks. Now, Franks has to take away the inside. He wants to do that, but watch the route and then the cut. Now, stop it there. Just before he comes back, young receivers, watch the step he takes back towards the football at the end of this play. This is the top of the route. He'll come back, take that extra step right there. That step wins the play for Kenyon Rambo.
So the Stamps with a touchdown. Let's see how the Lions respond as Jamal Robertson goes straight ahead for 3.
I want to go back to that touchdown one more time because Henry Burris, once again, I mean, how many times have we seen him do this? Karan Williams is coming off the edge, and he gives Stanley Bryant a little bit of a hello and welcome to the CFL kind of look as he ducks him. That's one of those lookout blocks from a youngster, but Henry Burris steps up, makes a miss, completes the throw to Rambo.
Now the Lions look at 2nd and 7. Lule backpedaling. Miguel Robinet in pursuit. Look out. Now Lule does get it away and throws it away to save the sack. So after a touchdown, the Stamps defense creating a 2-and-out.
Amazing when you hear coaches talk about your quarterback gives you hope. And when your quarterback makes a play like the Calgary quarterback did in Burris, now the defense plays a little bit more jump in their step, gets a 2-and-out right away.
Murphy awaits. McCallum has him backing up to his 14. And Murphy's got a return. Brought down across the 30 at the 32, 18 on the return after a 52-yard punt. Well, this week the Canadian Football League fined Solomon Elimimian for this headshot hit. And with more, back to the sidelines to Sarah Orleski.
Chris, I spoke to Solomon before the game about the fine, and he used sports' great cliche of the moment. It is what it is. He understands what the league is trying to do, and he will have to be a little bit more cautious. But with that being said, he can't change the way that he plays. And how he plays is like a freight train. Wally Buono has compared him to Stamps great Alondra Johnson, saying that the two had the rare ability of being able to accelerate while completing a hit. And just as a side note, earlier when we saw Elimimian leave the game, it was because he dislocated his pinky and ring finger on his left hand, but that certainly isn't something that's going to keep him out.
Right back in there. Knowing Wally Buono, there is no bigger compliment than a comparison with Alondra Johnson.
Solomon Elimimian is a striker. He's not just a tackler. He goes in and will strike ball carriers, opponents, receivers, quarterbacks. And that's what Wally Buono likes about him at middle linebacker.
Robbie Bryant's catch was for 8 yards, so it's 2nd and 2, and on the end around, R.J. Franklin back to the line of scrimmage, taken down at the 41. Looks like he'll be a yard short of the first down. Just to finish the Elimimian thought, the league had already sent 2 warning letters to him, 4 headshots this season, so I know a lot of the Lions fans and the organization not happy with the fine.
Well, you know, and when I looked at it, we slowed it right down, and I know the league did the same after a couple of letters just to warn him to be careful with the way he delivered those blows. He did duck his head and hit more with the top of his helmet on Ricky Ray than he did with the face mask. A lot of what he's done has been legal with the face mask, but that one just borderline. So they gave him a couple letters of warning and then fined him. Don't have a problem with that with the league, but it has been fun to watch Solomon Elimimian play this game, because that's from the linebacker spot how you want your guy to play.
It's his 11th start, 9th at middle linebacker, and in his last 8 games as the middleman in that BC defense, 53 tackles.
Well, 30 tackles in the last 4 games. I mean, he's taking a run at the rookie nominee for sure. You could tell, look at the top of his helmet. And that's a linebacker's helmet. You're not gonna, you take that helmet, you're not gonna mix up whose helmet's who if you put them beside the receivers or the kickers or anything like that.
It's gonna get marked up here on 3rd and less than a yard. Drew Tate is in, and he slides off the left side and finds a big hole. There is a flag on the play. Drew Tate to the BC 50-yard line. A 19-yard run. He's had a 40-yarder this year.
Well, he got the most of his playing time this season against the BC Lions.
Offside, BC, penalty is declined, first down.
Lions lined up offside, and Calgary gladly declines that. In fact, he's also thrown touchdown passes in each game against the Lions.
Yes, he has, and tough to see from that angle exactly where the BC Lions lined up offside. Maybe the left side of that line a little bit, but he has made some plays against the BC Lions.
First back in, and the crosser, Kenyon Rambo, first down, out at the 36. 14 more.
Kenyon Rambo on this play has to make a quick decision when he hits the line right here. He's got to decide if he's sitting down somewhere across that middle or if he's just going to run right through the zones and get outside of Adam Leonard. He makes the right decision, and Henry Burris gets him the football.
Stampeders have more yardage in the game than the Lions, despite being down by 13 points. When Calgary has out-offensed their opponent this year, they are 11-0. John Cornish. And there's Elimimian in on the tackle.
Starts with a little help from his friend in Karan Williams that is gonna shoot the gap here, and then Solomon Elamimian will then rally in what's called scrape to the football. You see Karan Williams try and blow up the lead block, and then you see his linebacker in Elamimian. Now he can scrape, and he doesn't have to worry about taking on a tackle or a guard. He can just fly to the football.
Turned 24 yesterday. Bright future with the Lions. 4 for Cornish, so it's 2nd and 6. Good protection. Nick Lewis over the middle has another Calgary first down.
Nick Lewis comes off the ball here, Chris, and he goes right on to Corey Banks pretty quickly. He's going to end up trying to get right to this spot right in the middle, because you can see Tad Crawford vacate, so now it's just a matter of Henry Burris just waiting that extra second for his yak yard and the CFL yak yard leader to get to that open area.
Man, it's his 24th second down conversion catch of the year. He's in the top 5 in that category. 17 more, puts him over 100 already in the game. First down inside the 15. Burris with a look back. Cote pulls it down, breaks 2 tackles and fumbles, and is picked up by John Cornish. So one Canadian bails out the other in that Calgary offensive backfield.
That's where they both start on this play, in the backfield. Burris really sells it. He's going to roll to his left inside the tackle, then flip around and drop that screen off. Dante Marsh hits the football with his helmet. Now it's loose. There's John Cornish to the rescue.
Who fumbled in this game. It resulted in a Lion touchdown. Cornish bailing his teammate out that time to keep this alive. 2nd and 6. Burris, Lewis breaks the tackle. Vintage Nick Lewis, touchdown. Not just Mark Estelle. There's Nick Lewis tire tracks on a few defenders in this league.
And this is the definition of yak yards. You put yak yards in the dictionary, you just put 82 beside it. First guy never brings him down.
And then he'll get up and do some more yakking. Maver the extra point. Calgary's right back in it.
Boy, and you can see how that ignites the bench. I mean, that just gets everybody jumping when they see their leader. And Nick Lewis has become the leader of this football team, or one of them, along with Henry Burris. It's Tad Crawford first to make contact. He can't get him. Up over the top, he can run around you, he can run over you, and he can run through you.
And I'm not sure there isn't a pretty good argument for number 82 being the outstanding player in the league this year. 8th touchdown grab.
I know, I hooked it up just because I knew I could be Tad when I seen it coming down.
What's amazing in that yak yard category, though, is you look at him as the league leader. Yards after you catch the football, first man never brings him down. Over 50% of his over 1,000 yards come after he catches the ball. So it's not like he's going deep, running by people, catching it, and that's where he goes down. He's making people miss.
Hey, D, get us the ball back.
One way or the other.
Let's go now, BB.
So here in the first half, 5 catches, 112 yards, and a touchdown that gets Calgary within 6. And a big hit downfield on Andrew Harris. As the Stampeders are charged up after the Lewis touchdown.
Well, look at the yak yards and the leaders when you see Terrence Edwards, Jamel Richardson, Montreal. But look at the percentage to this side. That's what is really amazing to me, is that 52%, not 35, or in the 30% of the yardage are after the catch for Nick Lewis.
And that doesn't include tonight's total, so we don't have the official yak yardage tonight, but I would guess it's again over 50% of the 112 tonight. So how does Lule respond now that Calgary's getting close? Robertson strung out, they're dropped. Dwight Anderson there back at the 30-yard line. It's a loss of a yard.
Defensively, when you have a wide play and your running back is going one way or the other along the line of scrimmage, the key defensively is to keep the string it out. Just to be patient across that line of scrimmage, string it out. So Jamal Robertson has to turn his shoulder pads to the sideline. They do that, and the Calgary Stampeders get a tackle from their corner. But you can see what Nick Lewis has done to this team. He makes that big touchdown run. The defense is flying around and celebrating. That was a first down run play. Dwight Anderson was celebrating big time because he's jacked up from that play from his teammate Nick Lewis.
Justin Sorensen shaken up on the play, and he is getting attention from Bill Rochelle. And this game has turned. Well, John Hufnagel reached momentum last week. We'll see if what happened to.
Well, it's right in front. Malik Jackson gave him a left.
Excuse me,
hook.
it's Joe McGrath, the right tackle, who shaken up. And McGrath up and to the sidelines, and that should cue Justin Sorensen to come in to replace him. So second and about 10.5, and there was early movement. Flags down. Play does run, and Paris Jackson bumped out by Malik Jackson. And we'll find out what the call is.
And it looked like Charlton Hughes jumped offside. I'm not sure if he was drawn.
Offside. Calgary. Penalty is declined. First down.
So they take the 15-yard catch and run by Paris Jackson, a first down.
Charlton Hughes saw the change in Justin Sorensen coming in for Joe McGrath, who now has to go out for 2 more plays, and he wanted to get a big jump there. It was too early.
Big first down for the Lions, who need to get a stronger hold on this game. Lule in trouble. Ball pops loose. It's into the hands of Keon Raymond. And this is a Stampeder touchdown. 47 yards. Lions have a defensive touchdown, and now Calgary's got one too. And they're a point after from the lead.
Travis Lule has tried to buy time on a play like this a couple of times in this game. And he gets outside there and looks around, and if he doesn't see anything, he's been throwing it away. But this time, Charlton Hughes closes so quickly. I believe it's him that redirects, hunts down Travis Lule, and punches it out with his right arm into the hands of his teammate, Keon Raymond.
So just like that, Stampeders have the lead.
John Hufnagel talks about reloading. I think it's safe to say Calgary Stampeders have reloaded.
A 14-point deficit early last week at Mosaic. Did not discourage the Stampeders.
What's up? What's up? What's up, wifey? What's up, kids? What's up, wifey? What's up, kids?
And here, 21 consecutive points in 7 minutes and 37 seconds.
Good teams bounce back from adversity. Good players do as well. And Charlton Hughes gets an offside call and then comes back and closes so quickly on Travis Lule that he can't even secure the ball or throw it away. Punches it out from behind, and it goes through the air into the hands of Keon Raymond.
And turnovers continue to haunt the BC Lions. Charlton Hughes and a big hit there on Andrew Harris, the return man that time. Lion football, but it's the Stampeder lead.
1989, I think, was his first, he mentioned to me. Can't remember what happened that year.
Surprised you noticed that. Here's Lule in trouble again, and this time he does get it out of his hands, but Charleston Hughes has turned it up.
Yeah, they BC Lions better start rolling the opposite direction, away from Charleston Hughes, because once again, he is right there. He's lining up with a nice wide split. Again, taking away the run and able to redirect and close so quickly. That's what's amazing about those plays. His first 3 steps are inside on both of the last 2, and then he redirects a la Cameron Wake kind of speed to break back outside.
Second and 10. Lule pumps, and now he's got a man open, wide open. Emmanuel Arsenault got behind Dwight Anderson. Touchdown, and the BC Lions are back in front. And a little hug for Karen Drake. She's not going to ride the horse on that touchdown, but Emmanuel Arsenault is going to celebrate with her.
No, the horse stays in the barn when the opponent scores, but nice throw and catch here. Travis Lule, again, watch him recognize Calgary Stampeders show blitz, and then they just basically drop off, play man-to-man, and Emmanuel Arsenault gets in behind Dwight Anderson. What speed at the top end of the route to get separation.
Biggest play of the season for Arsenault, his 3rd touchdown, and a hug at the end of the reception. McCallum the extra point, and a wild first half.
When you get...
Hey, Arsenault in town. I come to play.
He came to play on that play, because when you get man-to-man, and if you're playing the Calgary Stampeders defensively, you know you're going to get a lot of it. Then you get a chance to do some route running. Emmanuel Arsenault is the middle receiver of the 3. He's working on Dwight Anderson. Watch the route running here. Jab the feet. Jab, jab, jab. Now he gets Dwight Anderson to sit. As soon as he gets number 33 to stop moving his feet and move forward, he's got him. 3-4 yards in behind. Now it's just accelerate to the football, put it under that arm, and take off and go. Tremendous route running by Emmanuel Arsenault. Now Travis Lule needs a little bit of time to throw this football, and I think it's Shurko Haji-Razuli, the right guard, who's going to pick up the stunt. He works on Tom Johnson in the middle, and right there in the middle of your screen on that little stunt to the inside on Robert McCune, Shurko Haji-Razuli picks it up, gives Travis Lule a chance to throw the football. He's clean and finds Arsenault.
So 2 big plays in this first half for the BC Lions. 74 yards to Arsenault for a touchdown, and a 65-yard play to Stephen Black. And this kickoff, is it going to stay in? It does. They've got to play it. Dion Murphy nowhere to go, as McCallum corners him with that kickoff that stays in play.
You know, I mentioned about Charleston Hughes and bouncing back. Travis Lule, you know, he was in there in a tough situation. The Calgary Stampeders had grab momentum. You look at Nick Lewis's play, Charleston Hughes with a couple of big plays. He forces a fumble for a touchdown. And I mentioned good players come back from adversity. Travis Lule is going to be a good player. He's got to keep progressing, but this is another good sign and good step for a young quarterback to face that adversity, come back, stand in that pocket, and make a big play to Emmanuel Arsenault.
Okay, Henry Burris, what do you got this time? He'll hand it off, but Godfrey Reynolds is swarmed and taken down. 2 minutes, 20 seconds to go in this wild first half. Then it's GMC Sierra live at the half, and the boys will have plenty to talk about here in the opening 30 minutes at McMahon.
I know that Matt Dunnigan is a fan of Travis Lule, and I've watched him progress over the last 3 games, and that's a huge step to take to battle back from adversity. This game far from over, obviously.
Schultz is going to weigh in on Travis Lule as well, and there again is the newcomer Stanley Bryant coming out of his stance, and it's a procedure call against Calgary.
John Huffnagel's talked very highly of Bryant, a chance for him to play for Edwin Harrison, and he's going to have to settle in, though. He's had a couple of plays now. Karan Williams came off the edge early on, and only because Henry Burris made a miss did they make a play, or else Karan Williams has a sack there. And Stanley Bryant now has drawn 2 procedure calls because he's moved early. So
Offside. BC number 98.
Wow.
It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
okay, I apologize
Take
to
it back
Stanley
to Stanley
Bryant.
Bryant.
But
Everybody was walking back. But
he did move, but according to the officials, there was some BC Lion encroachment prior to the movement. The only issue is I don't see a 98 listed for BC.
yeah, I'm not sure if that was 99 Jonathan Brown, but we won't speculate with the few 90s on that defensive line. Burris pumps, he's looking deep, and now being chased by Anton McKenzie, who forces him out. And then almost looks like he tried to hold him up, and he's going to get called for knocking him down, and McKenzie pleads his case.
And I don't know why, you know, Anton McKenzie doesn't have an argument here. I mean, first of all, they're going to protect quarterbacks. So if you're dealing with the quarterback, you better be smart about it.
Automatic. First
Well, I
down.
wasn't trying to hold him up, and you're right. It's not a tough call for Rob Hill to make.
No question. I mean, and it's about understanding where you are in the field and understanding the rules and what they're looking for. And clearly when it comes to quarterbacks, that will be a penalty every time. So I'm not sure what Anton McKenzie is trying to argue.
5-year vet. Running Burris out, but getting charged with the penalty that gives Calgary a first down, and the screen it. Reynolds up over the 50, and good defensive play there by Anton McKenzie.
Stanley Bryant, I want to show you doing this perfectly, which is to play this screenplay. This is the right tackle, and he's showing him on a couple of mistakes. Let's show him making a good play, because there's been a few of them. He's going to take the BC Lions off the edge there, jam them, hold them up just long enough so that Henry Burris can drop the screen pass under to Joffrey Reynolds.
Chains come out as they'll measure to see if Reynolds got the necessary yardage.
Well played by Stanley Bryant right there, and I believe it was Richard Jones off the edge that he was handling quite nicely.
27 points scored by the Lions, the most given up in a half by the Stampeders this season. But with all that, Henry Burris is 1:48 to give his team the lead before the half. But right now, Drew Tate comes in on 2nd and short. He'll plunge ahead and should have the first down.
There's plenty of time to put some more points on the board. Henry Burris is putting together a first half. The Calgary Stampeders reeling a little bit early. They were moving the ball, but had a couple of turnovers. But you're over 80% completion percentage, 232 yards, on pace for a 400-yard passing game for Henry Burris. Just like last week, bounced back from an early deficit.
Short drop. Bryant had to reach up and got punished by David Highland after making that catch. Into Lion territory. They'll spot him on the 52-yard line.
One of those where the quarterback buys the receiver dinner or takes him out. And when you leave him hanging out there with a high throw and you expose the ribs of your receiver.
And we saw David Highland on Kelly Campbell last week. 2nd down. Burris chased by Karan Williams. Little shuffle step. First down. Big run for Henry Burris to move the chains. He came into the game 39 yards short of 4,000 rushing yards in his career.
What a move he puts on Karan Williams, who has him in space. And first of all, Karan Williams does the right thing to readjust his pursuit angle. Karan Williams adjusts here. Now see how he widens to cut him off? So Henry Burris uses that momentum and that angle, a little shake there, and then bounces back outside.
Burris to throw, looking to the sidelines, and as Robbie Bryant for another catch, another first down.
You see, there's the throw to protect your receiver. He knows he's going to get hit, but that throw was perfect from the quarterback, and this time Robbie Bryant owes him a little something after get maybe a glass of wine or something, because he catches that right in his stomach so he can protect himself on impact. Henry Burris is trying to get the plays in here, but watch it quickly. Right on the sideline, throw it right in between the numbers so you take the hit, but protect yourself.
Hank has completed his last 10, and he's going to make it 11 straight and another first down. Kenyon Rambo the catch with 33 seconds left in the first half as both Bryant and Rambo continue to close on 1,000.
And if they can get there, the Calgary Stampeders, first time since 2000 when Travis Moore, Alan Pitts, and Mark Boldrichter did it.
Got a Lion defensive lineman down. And it's Khalif Mitchell stretching out.
That was some kind of run. Henry Burris on big move on Karan Williams, and then he got into it a little bit with Solomon Elamimian afterwards.
I think Henry Burris wanted to have a little visit, but Elamimian's a middle linebacker, and he's in no mood for any jocularity here. Watch this.
Smiling Hank. Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Get your hands off me. Alondra Johnson would have joked around either.
Look at he's going, wait.
Hank saying, I'm Mr. Congeniality. Everybody likes me.
He's got the big smile always, Henry Burris, but Elamimian says, no, I don't play that way. Especially when Calgary's driving against his defense right now.
Mitchell to the sidelines. It's 1st and 10. Calgary threatening. Burris, Lewis, touchdown. Great grab. Nick Lewis has a pair in this first half. And with 21 seconds left in the half, Calgary has tied it with a point after to regain the lead.
Tad Crawford is playing the wide side of the field and also looking to the wide side of the field. So where does Henry Burris go? Right back to that backside hash mark inside on Corey Banks to Nick Lewis.
Told you. I told you.
80th catch, 9th touchdown of the year, 2nd on the night, and it gives Calgary the lead in a wild first half that has seen 55 points put up on the board.
Precision offense from Calgary Stampeders in the hurry-up situation. And you're going to see on this touchdown, Tad Crawford move himself out of position for that backside route. Tad Crawford is the safety back here, and Nick Lewis now going to try and work this seam. Crawford's going to play too far to the wide side of the field. And now it's just a matter of Nick Lewis just going back right into that hole. He just has to get inside position there on Corey Banks, and he does it.
Burris with 3 touchdown passes in this first half and 34 on the season.
Now on the backside, Ryan Phillips a little wide too. He could have helped on the play, not just on Tad Crawford there. Either way, Nick Lewis splits them both.
Hey, I stuck him in. Hey, I stuck him in and came back and he went.
Well, there's still time in the half. Giannis Davis on this return. Now he'll try and kick it outside. And he does turn it up and steps out at the 47-yard line. 12 seconds for Travis Lulay. And does he have enough time to get BC back in front of the half?
I'm not sure if he will. And at this point, I think on the road, BC pretty good here. But I want to show you one more time. Tad Crawford little unfair to be too critical of him here. I believe this ends up being a cover 2 defense with 2 guys deep, and one of them is Ryan Phillips. So Crawford, by design, is supposed to go to that hash mark, and he needs help from the backside from Ryan Phillips and didn't get it. So between those 2 deep guys, Nick Lewis split him.
Well, they need about a 20-yard play for Paul McCallum. Let's see if they look for it. Dumps it off, Robertson. Cross midfield and dropped around the 50-yard line. That'd be a 57-yarder for Paul McCallum. You wonder if they'll try it. His longest on the year is 50.
Can they sneak one play in?
Looks like that's what their intention is.
To get a little bit closer. I watched McCallum hit him from 60 in warm-up.
They had to use their timeout earlier on an alignment issue, and this will be the last play. And Lule underneath, and it's a catch for G. Roy Simon. A quiet first half for him. The only catch for Simon, but it was not quiet for most of the offensive weapons. Halftime, 28-27, Calgary.
You know, we should have known something was up when the BC Lions scored a touchdown on the second play of that opening half, and it looked like it was going to be a romp. Up 20-0. 7 touchdowns in that first half. It is 28-27 Calgary. Dave, Jog, Matt, and Chris, the highest scoring half we've seen all season long. It's the highest scoring half of the season for the BC Lions. Calgary had their way with Edmonton earlier on. They scored 33, but lots of points on the board. 2 touchdowns by Nick Lewis, who now has 9 in his great career against the BC Lions. He's also got 9 against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, but fewer games against them, way fewer receptions. So you could say that this has been his favorite team to play against, and he's bringing it tonight.
Certainly is. Nick Lewis is on fire, and I think Henry Burse's biggest challenge is to distribute the football amongst all those receivers and playmakers he's got on the football field. In fact, he's been doing a great job of it. 19 of 22 and over 3. Oh, he's got 281 yards and 3 touchdowns in the first half, 34 TDs on the year. And his favorite guy is Nick Lewis. Why not? He's an inspiration to the entire football team. And when he heats it up like this and starts running over free safeties, hey, I tell you, everybody in that receiving corps wants the football and wants to make plays because this guy just lights fires under everybody, and he's tough to bring down. Nick Lewis is a joy to watch because he loves the game, and this epitomizes how he plays it. Runs over Ted Crawford, free safety, grabs another 2 Lions on the way to the end zone. Nick Lewis is the guy that ignites his football team. Right there, he beat 2 guys, the guy over the top and the guy in the deep. Hey, Nick Lewis is having half, guys. Huh?
Tad Crawford's going to see this guy in his nightmares tonight. How did that matchup come about tonight?
Yeah, well, Sanchez blew out his elbow last week, you know, and David Highland, free safety that took Crawford's job, goes to corner this week, and now Tad Crawford draws in. He's going like, oh, my goodness, I got enough of Nick Lewis in the first half. I know.
He's one of those guys that you look at and you don't want to tackle him in the open field. That's the kind of feeling he inspires in you. Now, let me just talk about defensive backs and receivers a little bit further about this. You know, before the football game, it was obvious during the week that the Calgary Stampeders have come right out and declared that they're going to take their 2 best defensive backs and follow around the 2 best BC Lion receivers. And it's interesting when teams decide to do that. I mean, I have thought in my career that sometimes that can be a bad thing because you're asking DBs to be out of their comfort zone. Browner is a cornerback, but because he's matched up one-on-one with G. Roy Simon wherever he goes, he's going to play in the slide. He's going to play in the short side. He's going to play in the wide side. Now he's going to go into the corner. How is he going to react with that? Well, so far, so good. Only 1 catch. At Arsenault, Anderson had kept him to only this catch as well, but you see how Arsenault beat him. He beats him with a double move. One of the advantages the receiver has to play against the same guy, play in and play out, is you can set him up. And that's what Arsenault did with a little hitch and go. That's the one advantage the receiver has. But I can tell you, it gets so tiresome to see the same guy opposite you play in and play out. And it's so far advantage Calgary Stampeders.
Well, what do you think we did on the offensive line?
Exactly.
We see the same guy play in and play out. It is an advantage.
You guys are Neanderthals. We've been over that.
Intellectuals at one moment, Neanderthals at the next. And for the BC Lions, Travis Lule has had a good half of football, except for 1 play. He did not have 1 turnover in the Edmonton Eskimo game. He did not have a turnover in the first quarter. And he went from plan A to plan B very successfully. If he could not make a read and a confidence throw, he'd run with the football, make a real positive play. But this one play, he should have had a sense of awareness because Charleston Hughes comes from behind, and you see this all the time. He's going to punch the ball out. It just falls right into the hands of the Stampeder player. Touchdown for the Calgary Stampeders. But I give the kid a lot of credit to come back after turning the ball over 2 plays later, and you throw the football with that level of accuracy for a touchdown. That means you've been able to take the negative feeling you have on the negative play, leave it on the bench, go back on the football field, and be the leader that you have to be as a quarterback. Travis Lulay is a good game manager. As you've expressed before, there's nothing really that scares you about him, but at the same time, if you give him a good surrounding group, he can win for you as a quarterback.
Guys, I'm a little surprised we got John Cornish for 14 yards rushing and Joffrey Reynolds for 6. Did Calgary not watch Edmonton run all over BC for 300-plus yards?
Reverse psychology.
Well,
you think we're going to run.
Yeah.
We're not
going to run. But, no, that is a little surprising, though. Wouldn't you say, we'll see if that turns around in the second half. Hey, we've seen all kinds of defensive touchdowns tonight. Stevie Baggs had one for Hamilton tonight. That's Richard Jones. And then Keon Raymond does one better for the Stamps. That is their 6th defensive touchdown of the season. We got a shootout out west on Friday night.
Gibson's Finest CFL Players of the Week is brought to you by Gibson's Finest Canadian Whiskey. Your whiskey, your way.
And here they are. Daniel Porter of the Eskimos in his 3rd CFL game rushed for 171 yards against the BC Lions. Stevie Baggs had a big week last week and a big night tonight as well. Derek Schiavone, the new kicker for Edmonton, special teams player, and Chris Getzlaff with 200 yards receiving and a couple of touchdowns last week in the game against the Calgary Stampeders. Hey, listen up. The CFL and Pepsi want to make Canada a better place. 8 players are competing against each other to win a special $50,000 grant. So support your favorite idea and help one of the players win at CFL.ca/Pepsi Refresh. Here are the stats, the halftime numbers, brought to you by Tim Hortons, proud sponsor of the CFL. Chelsea?
Thank you, Dave. First quarter belonged to the BC Lions. Second quarter belonged to the Calgary Stampeders. But the Stampeders have got the hot quarterback, 19 of 22 for Henry Burris. That is outstanding.
John Huffnagel's team has a 1-point lead after a wild first half, and he just spoke with our Sarah Orleski.
Coach, we've seen your team battle back from being down in the last couple of games. What does it say about this group to battle back after being down 20-0 after that early in that second quarter?
We're very fortunate we've been able to get back in the game. Offensively, we're able to, get some yards and get the ball in the end zone. We really needed it at that time. Shows that, we don't give up, and we're going to keep plugging away. It's going to be a high-scoring game.
You always talk about how football is a game of momentum. Did you get a sense at some point that it had switched back to you guys?
Well, I knew that we had to do something in that series. If the offense got that touchdown, I knew the way the game was going, we had to do something, and they didn't disappoint.
Thanks so much for this.
An awful lot of points on the board in this football game. There were an awful lot of points on the board in the first game of our Friday night doubleheader, but all by one team. The Hamilton Tiger Cats were at home to the Montreal Alouettes.
Hey, like I said, watch me play! Watch me play!
Maybe the full moon explains it. What a wild first half. 28-27. Let's head to the sideline. Sarah Orleski with Wally Buono.
Wally, your team leads 20-0 to start the second quarter and trails then going into the half. What happened in that quarter?
Well, what happened is, Calgary's got a good team and they made some plays, and on defense, we just keep hurting ourselves with penalties or with missed opportunities. And, right now it's a close game, and hopefully the second half will be a lot better.
As a coach, how important is it for you to see Travis Lulay kind of battle back from some adversity and get that touchdown to Arsenault?
Well, it's always important to see the quarterback fight the adversity. That's part of being able to deal with it and be a quarterback. You're not going to always have things go your way, and you're going to throw a pick, you're going to cause a fumble. But the big thing is he's able to rebound.
Thanks.
Okay, guys.
So the 28 points by Calgary, the most in a half by the Stamps this year. The 27 by the Lions, the most against the Stamps in a half this year. And what's going to happen here in the second half on this Friday night as John Cornish returns the kickoff up across the 35-yard lines. And what a second quarter for Henry Burris.
Yeah, both quarterbacks actually played very well in that first half. You look at their completion percentage, and keep in mind that Travis Lulay is in his 7th start. This is the 101st for Henry Burris as a Calgary Stampeder, let alone in his CFL career.
And Suits, the BC Lions had the #1 pass defense coming into this game, averaging 254 yards surrendered per game. And here's Burris with 283 in the first half alone. And we've got a flag before they snap the football. There's 13 men in the huddle.
I think so.
Legal substitution, 13 men in the formation. Calgary, 10-yard penalty. We have first down.
Note to self.
Happened once last week in the game at Mosaic.
What's the run first?
And so it will be 1st and 20 to start the opening offensive drive of the second half. 4 receivers wide side. Burris looking that way, and the pass intended for Jabari Arthur is incomplete.
Well, both quarterbacks had a good first half. We showed you their numbers. The guys that have kind of been ignored has been the running backs. And you look at Joffrey Reynolds in the first half, just 3 carries, 6 yards. And you know, how many times have we said with this Calgary team that they are at their best when they're balanced, and not balanced yet. Now, they have the 1-point lead. They battled back from that huge deficit in the first quarter. So you can't criticize it, but as this game goes on, I think you got to see a little more Joffrey Reynolds if you're a Calgary fan.
7 carries, 25 yards the last time they met. That incompletion, the first in 13 passes for Burris. And he throws over the middle and looks for Jabari Arthur again. And Stanley Franks is there, and on both passes, Arthur thought he was interfered with, but no calls, and tight coverage that from Stanley Franks.
Yeah, both plays, Stanley Franks, I thought, played pretty well. The second one, he may have had his hand on the back of Jabari Arthur just a little bit, but unless you turn the receiver, unless you pull him around and turn his shoulders, they're not going to call it. I don't think Arthur turned until the ball went by him. Back to back, they go right after Stanley Franks, and he responds.
So the Lions, who were singed for the 28 points in the second quarter, get an early 2-and-out here. Flag down on the return as Andrew Harris is dropped at the 42. It'll be BC Lion football when we come back to Calgary.
You heard Jock Climby at halftime talk about the matchup between Brandon Browner and G-Roy Simon. Just one catch for Simon in the first half. Browner locked up on him. And G-Roy Simon wants to have a big game in this second half. He's going to have to roll up his sleeves against maybe the best cover guy one-on-one in the league.
That one catch is 70th of the year, which puts him 11 behind a guy named Stiegel for 6th on the all-time reception list. Lions to work, first down at their 30. And here's Giannis Davis trying to get outside. Malik Jackson there with him, and Davis steps out after a 2-yard gain, and you get an idea of the speed of the linebacker, Malik Jackson.
Yeah, he hustled down there. I just want to show you, and we tracked Brandon Browner on that last play. He walks out on Emmanuel Arsenault to start things out. Now, maybe Chris Jones is just playing a regular defense with Browner back on his familiar corner spot, or maybe they've decided after that deep ball to Emmanuel Arsenault that they want to put Browner on him.
2nd and 8. Lulay looking deep. He wants Arsenault, and he just missed him. Had a half step on Dwight Anderson, and Lulay would like to have it back.
So here's exactly what Calgary's decided to do is they put Browner here, and they're going to put him back on G-Roy Simon. Dwight Anderson's Emmanuel Arsenault, but not only is Browner covering Simon one-on-one, but they're going to give him some help too. Watch as Juwan Simpson there just brackets on a double team. That's why Lule goes to the single matchup with Emmanuel Arsenault on Dwight Anderson.
So both teams 2 and out in their opening possession. Good kick by McCallum. No return as it skips out at the Stampeder 36-yard line. Our sack tally brought to you by Purolator, tackling hunger across Canada. Check.
That's a good race. You look at all the teams that have a chance to win this race here, and one of them being the BC Lions. No sacks tonight, but BC Lions over the last few years have always led in the sack race, and
don't have a guy by the name of Wake who apparently has got his own sack race going in the NFL now.
I think he has 6 on the season.
3 last week and 6 in the first 5 games. It's dumped off to Reynolds, and he's cut down quickly by Corey Banks.
They can't block Cameron Wake down there either. Quick tackle there by Corey Banks to jump up on Joffrey Reynolds. We haven't talked about Corey Banks much in this game tonight. A guy that always seems to be around the football. 6 quarterback sacks and 42 tackles on the year, and a guy that, you know, through the first half we were talking about as an early nominee for defensive player, certainly.
Banks went low on that tackle. It was a clean hit, but it certainly has been a topic of discussion, the low hit by the Lions defense in the last week or two. Here's Burris stepping up, diving, and ball popped loose as he made contact with the ground. Burris driving short of the first down. They'll mark him inside the 45.
There has been discussion about these low tackles, and BC Lions playing Edmonton. Kamau Peterson was hurt on a low hit by Anthony Reddick. Different than that one from Corey Banks. Now, I think when you're talking about sort of the code in football, that if it's a ball carrier that is running full steam and turns and he's coming at you, low tackles are certainly acceptable. Both, by the way, hits, legal hits as they're written now.
But we chatted with Tom Higgins before the game, and there is a movement among coaches in the league to change the rule, perhaps to protect offensive players a little bit more, but the wording of that change is going to be difficult. Good kick by Dales, and even better cover as Giannis Davis is tossed down by Mark Kalist after a loss on the return. Brandon Browner's been prominent on Calgary's defense again tonight with more. Sarah Orleski.
Well, Chris, Browner is already known as one of the top corners in the league, and he told me that he's been watching a lot more film this season, something that he didn't do a lot of in the past. So it should come as no surprise, though, the watching film. What it does, though, is that he says he's been watching himself on film, that offenses will throw different looks at you all the time. He finds it more beneficial to watch his own tendencies on film so that he can see what he's doing well and where he needs to improve.
Well, he's limited G-Roy Simon to 1 catch, and now BC starts deep in their own zone at the 6, and from his end zone, with Flair and Robertson's going to give them some breathing room, and a first down up across the 15.
It's called self-scouting, and as you get older and your physical skills, and certainly Brandon Browner's physical skills aren't diminishing just yet, but as you do, and they do, you have to watch more film and become a smarter player. You got to look at what you do on the field and what you can correct. Be your own worst critic. Break down the film. That's what Brandon Browner is doing for the first time in his career. I mean, when you look early on, he said he didn't really watch much film. He just kind of was out there being an athlete. Now he's starting to study film, as Sarah mentioned, and it's going to make him that much better of a football player. No catches for Andy Fantuz last week. 1 catch for G-Roy Simon this week so far.
2 of the best in the business. They marked him just short of the first down, Robertson. And there's a plunge off the left side on the quarterback sneak for Jarius Jackson to move the chains. And an important first down for the Lions to get them a little better field position.
You know, but knowing G-Roy Simon over the years, I know he loves this challenge. And you got to think that Geroy Simon can't wait. I mean, he's probably hinting to his quarterback in Travis Lulay, don't worry about who's covering me. Is that a little hint there? He just a little whisper to Travis Lulay right there.
1st and 10. Lulay looked his way, then looks back, and as Robertson again pushed out by Browner on that far side. Well, Geroy Simon watched Browner on Fan 2's last week and actually invites the opportunity to face Brandon Browner.
In their matchup system, they try to match body types with body types. But saying that, I've been our most productive receiver, and he's one of their better DBs. So I would expect anything. You know, I talked to him last time we played. I said, why don't you tell your coach to have you cover me? And he said he's been trying to get it.
Well, got it now on this play. 2nd down, and once again, Jamal Robertson being used as a receiver. That's 3 catches already on this drive and a 1st down.
That's what I meant. It's Geroy Simon saying, why don't you go tell your coach to put you on me? And that's exactly what they're doing, especially in 2nd down. Passing downs, we're seeing 27 line up on 81. And let's see how this route went. Now, Travis Lulay went the opposite direction. Geroy Simon, a bit of a step on Browner on that one, just didn't see the football.
And you haven't shut out Geroy Simon or limited him to 1 until the 60 minutes is over. 1st down, Lulay has some time, loading it up. He wants Black. Stephen Black up for the ball, and it's intercepted. Keon Raymond, who had a fumble recovery for a touchdown, has an interception. It's his 4th of the year. And we got a little scrap going by the Lion bench. Dwight Anderson in the middle of it.
Manuel Arsenault over there, too. What a play by Keon Raymond to stick with him all the way down the field. Right on Stephen Black, and then time his jump absolutely perfectly. You can't cover it any better. Travis Lulay was just throwing it up, trying to get that matchup, seeing if Black could come down with this jump ball. The inside right here is the inside receiver, Stephen Black. Watch Keon Raymond pick him up late, stay in that hip pocket, take a look at his eyes, not bite yet, and then time his jump.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. BC, major foul, unnecessary roughness. Calgary, it's Calgary's ball, 1st down.
So, offsetting penalties. Wish we could tell you who was involved. I think Dwight Anderson was one.
And Emmanuel Arsenault, I believe, was the other, as they were trying to block each other. And goodbye the officials to just 1 each on that one and not have it influence the play. What an interception by Keon Raymond, putting together a good game.
And just for the record, it is Raymond's 1st interception of the game. The play in the 1st half ruled a fumble recovery as the ball was punched out of the hands of Travis Lulay. It was not an intended pass. Either way, it's a big defensive night for number 25. Here's John Cornish with speed. Cornish is seam. And he's up across the 45 before Karan Williams drops him.
And one of the most impressive things to me about John Cornish is his acceleration when he decides where he wants to go. As he works his way this way, as soon as he makes his decision to turn upfield, that first couple of steps are dynamite. Watch how he'll work his way, and then now he recognizes it. He sees that crease, and he hits it hard before a tackler can even react. He's about 7-8 yards down the field, and of course his average just shy of 8 yards a carry.
17 and on that crack, and of course the New West product always pumped to play the BC Lions. Came into the game 10th in rushing, and here's a guy who plays 1 out of every 3 series. And Corey Banks getting escorted to the sidelines. He took a knee and then tried to get up, but Bill Rochelle wants to make sure he's all right, and he's off for 3 plays. So Anthony Reddick will come in. And here's Burris, the long out intended for R.J. Franklin's incomplete.
Calgary Stampeders have been a good third quarter team, especially defensively, only allowing 47 points in the third quarters of football games all year. That basically breaks down to 3 points a game per third quarter. And Calgary Stampeders offense, that's where they really grab control of football games.
They did last week when they held on to the ball for 21 minutes and 7 seconds in the second half alone against the Rough Riders. 2nd and 10 here. 3-man lion rush, and they're still putting heat on Burris, and now he'll step up. Oliverian in pursuit. Henry Burris is knocked out near the first down.
And Nick Lewis on Adam Leonard came back and lowered the boot for his quarterback.
And that has been done on occasion, and Leonard's going to have to take an 8 count. He's adding to that MOP candidacy tonight, isn't he?
Well, Henry Burris takes off. No question, he's put it under his arm, and he's going now. Take a look at the top of your screen. Here it comes. Right here, Nick Lewis on number 44, Adam Leonard. He just puts a pad right in the middle of his shoulder pads. Oh, boy.
He's good for about 2 or 3 of those a season, but that's as high on the Richter scale as I think we've seen. Wow. Tad Crawford with the push out on Burris, but they give Burris the first down, and Leonard gets attention. Well, tomorrow the CFL on TSN continues with another doubleheader. First up, the Argos take on the Blue Bombers in Winnipeg. And following that, it's the Saskatchewan Roughriders, the Edmonton Eskimos. Live coverage gets underway at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. This one's worth another look.
Well, Nick Lewis, he's the deeper receiver on the in route here, and then he sees his quarterback running, and he comes down on Adam Leonard, and you just hope that Adam Leonard's going to be okay and get up. This is a legal hit, and they don't get any bigger than that one right there.
Objectionable conduct. BC number 21. It's a 10-yard penalty, and it's now first down.
Now the BC bench was watching closely because Adam Leonard was down, and they were watching the Calgary reaction to see if there was huge celebration over the big hit. In other words, unsportsmanlike conduct and huge celebration with the player on the ground, and I didn't see that from Nick Lewis, and it looks like Adam Leonard's going to be okay.
Boy, that's good to see Leonard up and on the sidelines. Not the first guy to be run over by the 82 train. What a night for Nick Lewis. And now maybe the hit of the year. Flags fly. The penalty on Ryan Phillips brings the ball inside the BC 45, and
procedure. Calgary number 68. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
You know, I know Adam Leonard, he gets hit on that play, but how many receivers in football, in any league, have the guts to come back on a linebacker going full speed, weighing 240, and just throw your body in there like Nick Lewis has done so many times in his career? I mean, that's what makes it that much bigger.
Well, there's not many linebackers that are much bigger than the 235-pounder.
And they're coming full speed. I mean, 99%, and no disrespect to receivers around the league, and Jock, I know you're listening in the studio, but 99% of receivers are going to pass up that hit. I mean, you got a 240-pound linebacker flying to the football full speed. They're passing up that hit. Nick Lewis doesn't pass up that hit.
In fact, he's probably looking for it every time Burris takes off. After the penalty, 1st and 15. And that pass incomplete at the feet of R.J. Franklin with the flag down.
And Lewis was wide open on that play. I think the reaction from Henry Burris there showed it all. Now, he might have got a bit of a jump, and that may be the penalty flag here. But wow, was he open.
Offside. Calgary, number 82. 5-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
He didn't see a safety in the middle on that last play, and he was so excited about it, he jumped the gun a little bit. As the Lions jumped his own, look at him waving. Wide open looking, no one around him.
You know, Corey Banks, thinking back to that hit, paid Lewis a compliment this week. He said he's an offensive guy with a defensive mentality, and it was never better illustrated on that last hit on Adam Leonard. 2nd and 15, catch is made. Robbie Bryant brought down at the 40. He's short of the first down, but does he get them into Rob Baber field goal range? And check that, it was 1st and 20, so it's now going to be 2nd and 6.
And that's what it does. It takes a good chunk of it away. When you're 1st and long like that, you're not even thinking first down. You're thinking take a big chunk, get yourself in a manageable situation.
So now 2nd down and 6. Henry under pressure. He'll dump it off at Cornish. First down. John Cornish is dropped at the 25-yard line. Richard Jones on the stop. But the Stamps are moving.
John Cornish is going to come up in protection here and tries to cut block off the edge. And then when he gets hurdled, he realizes, well, that was my assignment blocking-wise. So now what I might as well do is get up and become a receiver. Watch him come and try and protect here. He's going to cut block the oncoming BC line right there. That doesn't work. I believe it was Anthony Reddick. And then just trickles out as a receiver.
So Henry Burris over 300 yards in the game and gives it back to Cornish. Look at that speed. And Thron Williams with the horse collar tackle as flags flying everywhere at the 15. Excuse me, Stanley Franks with the tackle.
Yeah, and there's no question it was a horse collar, and he actually rode that horse for about 4 or 5 steps.
Horse collar tackle. BC number 6. After distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Wally Buono talked about penalties from his defense with Sarah Orlesky at halftime, and this is one that it almost appears that Stanley Franks forgot about the rule completely. I mean, he grabs him there, reaches up with the other hand, and then with both hands kind of pulls him backwards and then realizes it.
So it brings it first down inside the 10. Joffrey Reynolds checks in for duty. Play action fake to him. That wasn't available. Bruce takes off. Another flag as he's dropped at the 4-yard line.
Like Brent Johnson sort of eliminated the throwing lane to the play side for Henry Burris, which made him take off and scramble to the backside. 10-year veteran has not missed a game.
Holding. Calgary number 62. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Stanley Bryant charge. That'll march them back 10. The newcomer at right tackle.
Ron Williams lined up outside him again. Looks like he's okay so far, but then as Cron Williams tries to fight back to make the tackle, he spins him.
Adam Leonard was in the defense on that last play. He's gone to the sidelines, but that's a pretty quick recovery after the jolts he took. And Joffrey straight ahead with another flag on the play. 9th play of the drive, and we've had 6 flags.
Offside, BC 94. It's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Richard Jones. So it'll be 1st and goal once again, and this time the ball's down on the 13-yard line. Looking for the first points of the second half after a 55-point first half splurge by these two teams.
Well, Calgary just doesn't give up points in the 3rd quarter. They just don't do it.
First and goal. Burris looking for the end zone, and Kenyon Rambo lost his footing, and There are no flags. Corey Banks down in the end zone, and Rambo looked like he was open, but the ball didn't arrive.
Yeah, it looked like Kenyon Rambo broke off his route and tried to cut back into the middle across the face of Corey Banks, and when he did, they got tangled up a little bit. No flag on the play. Rambo was trying to break off his route. The ball was already gone, though.
So Banks, who left earlier in this quarter, back in the defense. And it's 2nd and goal for Calgary at the Lion 13. And once again into the end zone and almost intercepted. The pass behind Kenyon Rambo and a shot at it for Stanley Franks.
You know, Stanley Franks has got Henry Burris before, back in the end of August. A couple of interceptions by Stanley Franks. I know Burris at that time was trying to go after him. Newcomer in the secondary for the BC Lions earlier on in the season, and now he's settled in. You're a veteran at this point, no matter how many years you've been around that. There's a nice turn, and he really should have had that interception because that ball thrown behind Kenyon Rambo.
Another one of those many BC Lion Rookie of the Year candidates. It'll be an interesting vote on who gets the nomination out of BC. So Maver in, 20-yard attempt. And Rob Maver puts it through. First points, 3rd quarter, and it's a 4-point Stampeder lead. Well, they are bad and they are back. The search resumes for the nation's most inept driver as Canada's worst driver begins a brand new season Monday, 10 o'clock Eastern and Pacific, only on Discovery Channel. So the Lions limit the damage, but they are now down by 4. And Corey Banks suggesting he might have taken a little forearm shiver on that last series.
Now he's trying to point out exactly who it was, and I believe it was that one-on-one when Kenyon Rambo tried to cut across him. And I'm sure the head coach and Wally Buono will explain to Corey Banks, that's fine, just don't retaliate. You get a chance to make a good clean hit on him later in the game, do it that way.
Maver boots it downfield. Andrew Harris has been busy tonight, has a little trouble finding the handle. Now he's got it, and look out! Nice return. Maver will bounce him out at midfield.
You know, it's amazing how often this happens, where a returner juggles the ball a little bit. It almost seems like that split second more takes the timing, the rhythm, and maybe some of the pursuit lanes by the cover team and takes them a little bit too deep or a little bit too far. You see this quite often where a returner will juggle the ball, put it on the ground, and then pick it up, and then all of a sudden have a seam.
And that return of 34 yards sets things up for Travis Lulay near midfield. Lion 54-yard line. Robertson not going anywhere. Robert McCune all over him. Drops him at the line of scrimmage.
Calgary Stampeders ranked #1 coming into this week against the run. Jamal Robertson, last game versus the Calgary Stampeders, had a big game, 140 yards rushing, but the Calgary run defense has been shored up since.
Fourth, 2nd and 10. Lulay underneath, Paris Jackson, and he dropped the ball, gets back on it as he tried to swim, made the swim move against Milt Collins, and the ball came loose. He'll be short of the first down after a pickup of just about 3.
Well, for Lions fans, the A.J. Harris return, though, does get them some field position back. And in a 4-point game, it's important. That's a game of real estate at that point.
There's Dion Murphy on the return, and flags fly as he steps out just beyond the 25-yard line. And it's been a busy third quarter for the officials.
Holding on the return. Calgary number 27. It's a 10-yard penalty. Comes first down.
That's Brandon Browner, and they'll back up 10. Well, they had a special ceremony at halftime. The Wall of Fame inductees for 2010. Boy, what a defensive end this guy was. Will Johnson, now a policeman in Calgary, and that'll lower the crime rate. Honored Bertie Morrison, a longtime linebacker from 78 to 88. Also honored. And unable to be here, Alondra Johnson, one of the all-time great middle linebackers and a favorite of this man, Wally Bono. Will fake to Reynolds and Nick Lewis. And Lewis takes a hard hit there as he crossed the 30-yard line as Ryan Phillips stepped up, and Corey Banks at the end of the play, and Lewis still down.
Early in the season, Nick Lewis, I believe it was a tweet or a Twitter or whatever they're called, where he said that the BC Lions are a team that like to tackle low in the open field, and it's another low hit by Dante Marsh.
See the momentum of Banks landing on him a little late, but clearly not a late hit. No fake there, and Reynolds was surrounded and not going anywhere. And Adam Leonard right back in the game, which is astounding after the hit he took earlier in this quarter.
Yeah, you talk about Alondra Johnson and Wally Buono and how big of a fan Buono has been of AJ, and how he compared, as Sarah mentioned early in the game, the play of Solomon Elimimian this year and how he's compared that to Alondra Johnson. Now, Elimimian said in the paper when he was asked about it, he said, no, don't compare me with a guy that is as decorated as Alondra Johnson is, which is great to see that he's a humble football player as well.
Here's Burris throwing behind the intended target, flag down. Wally Buono said the Calgary Stampeders could not beat Edmonton, and he had to find a way of neutralizing Tracy Ham. He went out and signed Alondra Johnson.
Offside, Calgary 82. That penalty is declined. It's third down.
Nick Lewis offside, and he felt that the Johnson signing really put Calgary over the top, and that tremendous run in the 90s.
Yeah, and you know, when you're building a team, and this is what the BC Lions are doing. They're rebuilding a team right now. You need the foundation in place, and that starts at middle linebacker on your defense. I think Wally Buono has found a piece of that mortar right there, a piece of that foundation in Solomon Elimimian. Now we just have to make sure we get his name right all the time.
Solomon Aluminum. Off the side of the foot to Burt Dales. Don't usually see Dales miss one like that, and it's going to be great field position for the Lions. No yards on the short kick, as Dales had that one go off the side of his foot. And it's going to be a net gain of around 15 yards here on the kick.
No yards. Calgary number 26. Penalties declined. The gain was greater. End of the quarter.
So Rod Cote was inside that 5-yarder. And that's the end of the third quarter. It's the Stamps by 4. Our third quarter numbers brought to you by Tim Hortons, proud sponsor of the CFL.
Interesting third quarter. It's like in the first half, these two teams were boxers throwing haymakers, and then they realized, well, wait a minute, we better tighten up a little bit. Good net yards for the Calgary Stampeders at over 400, and that defense for Calgary, coming into this game, we're averaging just 3 points in the third quarter per game. They did not give up a point in that third quarter.
You talk about the adjustments. They also limited the Lions to 30 yards of offense in the third quarter, almost like the offenses got tired out in the first half.
Well, you know, Travis Lulay is going to have to try and push the field again and see if he can't try and get the Calgary defense in one of these man-to-man matchups.
Second straight possession for the Lions that starts around midfield. This time inside Calgary territory. A big run for Jamal Robertson, who bulldogs down to the 41-yard line.
And maybe that's the way you do it if you're the BC Lions. If you go back to Jamal Robertson and instead of attacking the perimeter, you try and just run it straight up the middle. And that's what the BC Lions try to do here. They get some good blocking up front. Nice block from Javon Olafioye to come down from his tackle spot. And it's the secondary before first contact is made.
Olafioye, another Rookie of the Year candidate. 6 carries, 22 yards for Robertson. Been busier as a receiver. Lule, a quarterback option. Down inside the 35-yard line.
John Huffnagel and that coaching staff going at halftime, and they make adjustments as well, if not better than any team in this league. You can tell by the point differential. I mentioned their defense and how strong they are in the third, and that's where they really get a stranglehold on games. Now, they haven't done that here tonight. The Calgary defense did their job. Only 4-point difference, though.
If you joined us late, it was 20-0 for BC. Lions also led 27-21. Here's Robertson out of the backfield. He's got a catch and taken out by Malik Jackson at the 25. BC, another first down. Their best drive of the second half.
A couple of things in this drive that they're going to. One is Jamal Johnson both running it up the middle and in the passing game, and then a little of Travis Lule using his legs once again with that good 7.5-yard average coming in.
6 carries for Robertson in the game. That's his 7th catch. And the Lions with another first down at the Calgary 25. Robertson again, and this time into the arms of Juwan Simpson and company.
Team leader in tackles stepped into the hole that time. He didn't want one play to become a trend for the BC Lions in this fourth quarter. And that one quick hitter by Jamal Robertson that got pretty good yards in a first down, and then Chris Jones, middle linebacker, shut the door on that one.
Mentioned he was a healthy scratch late last year. He was a rush in with the Stamps defense. Back at his collegiate position of middle linebacker where he starred and captained at Alabama. 2nd and 8. Lule in trouble. Malik Jackson. Lule tosses it away, and it's intercepted. And it is Juwan Simpson who fumbles, and the Lions get it back. Jamal Robertson knocks it out. It is BC football after a Juwan Simpson interception of a ball that Travis Lule shouldn't have thrown.
It's a full moon. It has to be. That's as wacky as it gets. First of all, Travis Lule wanted to go to G. Simon, who was covered by Brandon Browner and doubled, so he has to pull it down. He wanted to go to Simon there on that short side. He couldn't. Now he should never have thrown that ball. Throws it right into the hands of Juwan Simpson, who is then stripped by Paris Jackson. Last to touch it, Jamal Robertson. BC gets the ball in the change of possessions.
Well, it is a full moon here over McMahon Stadium, but Lion fans are saying it's been a full moon for about 3 weeks now, or maybe longer. So it is a first down. It backed up a little further at the 41-yard line. Lule with time. His favorite target tonight is Robertson working against Malik Jackson. And how many times have we seen Jackson push him out after a decent first down gain?
But it's been all Jamal Robertson here. I mean, the quick hitter to start the drive, a couple of catches in the drive, and maybe the most important play for the Lions, the last to touch it on the turnover and the fumble. Juwan Simpson had it. He fumbled it, knocked it out of bounds. Last to touch to regain possession because the Lions are in field goal range right now.
Couple of Lule interceptions here in the second half, and fortunately for him, the last one doesn't cost him. Although they did lose 15-20 yards in the exchange, but it is BC football looking at 2nd and 2. 2 backs behind Lule. And it is Robertson. It is the first down as he lunges down to about the 27.
And now Jamal Robertson, after this series, has been the guy, is going to have to take a break on the bench and get a little 0-2.
So first down for BC, and you keep wondering if it's G-Roy Simon time. Rolly Lambala checks in. The fullback is the lone running back. Double tight ends, 3 receivers out. Pressure still comes, and they got Lule back at the 35. And it will be Charleston Hughes, who was impressive in the first half, getting to the quarterback.
Well, he did step it up in the first half. A forced fumble turned into a touchdown to Keon Raymond. He also made Travis Lule, got to him on a pass, and this time he's coming around the edge. And it's going to be Brandon Isaac that forces him up into Charleston Hughes.
7th sack of the season for Hughes. Loss of 5. 2nd and 15. And Loud at McMahon. Lule steps up, flags down, everything opens up. Thomas Lule is stopped at the 12, but is it coming back?
Boy, Travis Lule is trying to go to G-Roy Simon. That's a couple of times in a row. Now he's on the limp after a big run. Is this coming back, though?
It is. It's procedure against the Lions.
Oh, boy.
Robert McCune shaken up on the play. He'll get attention from Pat Clayton and the staff.
Illegal procedure, illegal formation, no end. Number 69 lined up at the end, BC. It's a 5-yard penalty, and we'll repeat, 2nd down.
69 is an ineligible number.
Well, again, no 69 listed for BC.
And may have been 68 if Justin Sorensen. Illegal formation, and that run comes back.
Yes, it negates a huge Travis Lule run. We'll step out here at McMahon.
Robert McCune looked like he injured his arm on the play. Is going to take a huge ice bag.
The 19-yard Lule run was wiped out, and 2nd and 20. He'll step up again and take off. And Lule hurdles, makes a couple miss, and boy, that could have been a late hit. Tom Johnson falling on Lule as he was down, but no flag, and it'll be 3rd down, and on will come the field goal unit.
Well, we've seen flags for less on the quarterback, but I think he gets away with it here, Chris, because Tom Johnson doesn't lead with his helmet. He's just going to kind of fall on him. You can see the official watching him closely. Puts his hands up, but Travis Lule is down. Now, he's not touched, so you got to be down by contact. When a quarterback is down, all you're supposed to do is touch him with your hand.
So Lule sets it up for a McCallum field goal try of 35 yards. And Paul McCallum has put another through. And it's a 1-point game with 9:06 left in Calgary. 1-point game here in a low-scoring second half. 28-27 at the intermission. Now 31-30. Swung out to Reynolds, who cuts it back. Joffrey Reynolds with some yards after first contact.
Well, it's a 1-point game, and when you start to think about the importance of this football game for the BC Lions, I mean, the Calgary Stampeders, yes, they can lock up first place here, but they have a couple of chances to do that. Wally Buono is fighting for his playoff life here, and the Edmonton Eskimos, with that overtime win a week ago, basically take control for that last playoff spot. They win out, they get it, but BC Lions have to continue to push them and fight for it and hope that they get a little help. That's how important it is, and we're 1 point right here.
And there's some Winnipeg Blue Bomber fans watching. They're cheering for Calgary. They'll be cheering for Saskatchewan tomorrow, if you can imagine, in Winnipeg. Pass intended for Bryant, incomplete on the one hop. And it's going to be a big 2-and-out for the Lions. As good as the Calgary Stampeders have been this year, they are one of the top teams in 2-and-outs on offense, which is surprising. John Hufnagel, as good as his offense has been, would like to see a little bit more consistency and not as many of those 2-and-outs.
They have contained Giannis Davis.
That's a big boot by Dales, who misfired on his last attempt. There's Davis here. Look out! You spoke a little too soon. His best return of the night. And finally brought down by Charleston Hughes.
So far, they've contained him.
45 on the return. Our game story is brought to you by Mr. Lube.
Well, the Lions got off to a quick start in a 20-point lead, but the Calgary Stampeders, like they did a week ago in Mosaic Stadium in Saskatchewan, bounced back, took the lead in at halftime. Big game by Nick Lewis, not just the yards, not just the touchdowns, but that block on Adam Leonard, as big as it gets.
How about the last 4 possessions for BC, starting at the Lion 54, Calgary's 53-41, and now the 48-yard line. See if they can capitalize. Robertson straight ahead and dropped after 3 at the 45. And if you're tuning into TSN for Formula One qualifying at the top of the clock, we invite you to tune in to TSN 2, where you won't miss anything. A lot of football left here, though. 7 minutes to play. 1-point ball game. Critical in different ways for both teams. 2nd and 7. A lot of steamboats for Simon, and all over him was Brandon Browner. A knockdown, but a flag, and they're going to call pass interference.
Geroy Simon came across the middle, and I think he's been trying to talk to his quarterback, Travis Lule. I've watched him on the bench a little bit. I've watched him in the huddle to go ahead and throw it to him.
Pass interference. Calgary, number 27. Automatic first down.
Even though he's going against Brandon Browner, I think that Geroy Simon wants the ball thrown in his direction to try and even draw the penalty. And I mean, you be the judge. He tries to cut across the face of Browner here. He grabs him, gives him a tug, and then comes back inside and gets called on it.
Gives the Lions a first down. BC in field goal range right now. Robertson is taken down immediately on the play, and Charleston Hughes has had a big night on that Calgary defense.
You know, Travis Lule on some of the big plays. You go back a couple of series ago in his big run, he's trying to get the ball out there to Geroy Simon. And Geroy Simon is not only covered by Brandon Browner when we go back to this one, but Browner at times is getting help over the top from Wes Lysak, the safety, as you see coming into the picture there. So basically a double team. Lule's trying to get it to him. He threw it to him to draw the penalty flag on the last one.
2nd and almost a full 10. 5 receivers out and pressure's on. Dumped off. Robertson breaks 1 tackle and he's dropped at the 20. He'll be about 3 yards short.
Boy, it's a fun matchup to watch. You know, Geroy Simon tries to run once again the dig route. Now Lule is going to abandon him because you're going to see Browner again. Watch this. This is what he does. He will do this, and then it's a grab, it's a little tug right there, and then he lets him go. And what he hopes is that the official misses that one. Now, had Lule thrown the ball right there, right then, it would have been another flag on Brandon Browner. He doesn't, he drops it off, so no flag.
So Paul McCallum to put the Lions in front from 27 yards out. And he doesn't miss. The BC Lions have reclaimed the lead with 5:10 to play.
Well, it's Friday night, and it's a chance to once again say hello and a special troop salute to our men and women, the Canadian Forces. Meet Warrant Officer Jim Blackmore, member of Joint Task Force Afghanistan, which provides support to Afghan security forces. Roughly 2,800 Canadian Forces personnel are currently deployed to the Afghanistan mission, officially known as Operation Athena. I want to thank Warrant Officer Jim Blackmore and all those in the Canadian Forces for what they do on a daily basis.
Yes, the men and women who are there now and who have been and will still be deployed. Calgary takes over at their 35. Burris, looks like he short-armed that, and it comes up about a yard or two short for the intended target, Robbie Bryant.
Yeah, you know, David Highland out on that wide side corner he's impressed me. I know he hasn't seen the football a whole bunch, but he's been making sure tackles on the outside, and he's been close enough to maybe cause a little doubt to creep into the mind of Henry Burris, because I agree with you, Chris. I think he didn't want to really put it out there to Robbie Bryant because David Highland was close enough to maybe make a play on it.
Well, it's 2nd and 10. 4 receivers wide side, corners the setback. Here comes the rush. They've got Burris, and down he goes. So the Lions chalk up a sack, and Karan Williams has his 5th of the year. First sack of the night for BC.
He's been working on Stanley Bryant, and Bryant has had a couple of plays, but he has also been schooled a couple of times. Now this happens, Chris Schultz will tell you, to all offensive linemen in their first game. Karan Williams, an inside swim move right there on number 62, who's trying to find his way and get his feet planted. His first game.
Back-to-back 2 and outs for the Stamps here in the 4th quarter. Giannis Davis. And he's outside. Another good return. Cuts back across midfield, still going. Burkdales can't bring him down. And finally dropped at the 30. Cornell with the tackle, but after being quiet for 3 quarters, Giannis Davis is turned loose.
Well, you have to contain him for the entire 60 minutes. 3 quarters, the Calgary Stampeders basically shut down one of the most dynamic return men in the Canadian Football League, along with Chad Owens of the Toronto Argonauts. Maybe you could put Marcus Thigpen in there, the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but look at Giannis Davis, who had 244 combined yards when the BC Lions beat the Calgary Stampeders 4 weeks ago.
48 yards on that return after a big one earlier in this 4th quarter. And the Lions have a first down around the 30. The fake, or was it a little mix-up in the backfield? And Travis Lulay eats the ball.
Yeah, he had to. You know, when you think about outstanding player nominees, I know that people are almost writing in Chad Owens from the Toronto Argonauts, and when you look at his numbers, I mean, you can't argue it, especially in all-purpose yards with Owens on that left column at over almost 3,000 all-purpose. But, boy, you can make an argument for Giannis Davis, can't you? At least coming out of the West, certainly.
And another Rookie of the Year candidate. Exciting guy in a lot of ways, but for the most part, it's been Robertson in the backfield tonight. As they look at 2nd down, and there's Robertson out of the backfield. And he'll be dropped at the 25-yard line. It will be 3rd down. A 10th catch for Robertson. Sets up McCallum for another field goal attempt. Well, new this season, TSN2 brings you even more NFL action with weekly Sunday games beginning at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. This Sunday, the Redskins take on the Bears live from Soldier Field. 2-point lead here for BC, and Paul McCallum 33 yards away from making it a 5-point BC Lion advantage. Two and a half minutes left on the clock. And McCallum drills another. 36-31 as McCallum's hit 5 for 5 on the night.
Calgary Stampeders came into this game with a chance to lock up first place in the Western Division and have the home field bye. That's what's on the line for the Calgary Stampeders tonight. They have a chance to do that. Now they're going to have to try and get some field position back at the very least, but the clock is their enemy now. The BC Lions have played in their half of the field this entire fourth quarter.
Molly Bono had lost 8 consecutive meetings against John Hufnagel until the last visit to McMahon. Lions the only visiting team to win here, trying to do it 2 in a row, which would be a huge victory in the race for that final playoff spot. But there's work to do.
Chris, 47% of the games in the CFL, and it was 60 coming in, that have been played, have come down to the last 3 minutes. Add one more.
Dion Murphy hoping to set the table for Henry Burris in the offense with a big return. That's something the Lions have had going for them in the second half. As McCallum sends it on a hop downfield, and it'll be John Cornish. And Cornish limited Josh Jesse in a hurry downfield. The rookie out of Montreal with the tackle, and Cornish shaken up.
Jesse involved, as was Andrew Harris, who really got things started in the return game and the field position advantage. The end of the third quarter and heading into the fourth, and good special teams play has been the advantage in this fourth for BC.
What a difference a half makes for Henry Burris. Big night offensively, but quiet in the second half. Fakes to Reynolds, and that pass complete to Kenyon Rambo up at the 43.
And you know, Calgary fans are probably wondering what happened in this second half. Dave Dickinson calling the plays from the sideline. Offensively, you saw the numbers and how far they've dropped off in the second half for Calgary. And the only thing I could say that's been different from this week to last, 21, Joffrey Reynolds. Basically abandoned in this second half.
They didn't get it going early, but as you pointed out, they stuck with it in Saskatchewan. They haven't tonight. Not likely here on 2nd and 10, but they can use him as a receiver. But Anton McKenzie is right on the scene.
You know, it's Calgary fans that are going, wait a minute, let me get this straight. The BC Lions on defense gave up over 300 yards along the ground against Edmonton. And we're not involving our running back. Mike Benavides shored up that run defense and basically said after last week's game it was about responsibilities and being in the gaps. Well, the Lions have been in their gaps tonight, but Calgary abandoned the run.
2nd and 9. 3-man rush. Long out, and Highland arrived in time to break it up. Intended for R.J. Franklin. What an addition David Highland's been to that Lion defense, either as a safety or now on the corner.
He really is. You know, I like the way he plays. I mean, he's aggressive. He's, you know, I think you got to keep in mind, I mean, David Highland is playing in his 4th game. I mean, when you're a defensive back in your 4th game at the pro level, you're backing up. You're giving guys room. You're playing against Romby Bryant, Nick Lewis, and Kenyon Rambo. You're giving them some room. David Highland hasn't. He has no fear.
3rd and 9. Dales will kick it away with 99 seconds on the clock. What's Andrew Harris got here? He's taken down immediately. Great cover on the play, but it's a 5-point Lion lead, and now can BC run the clock out?
Travis Lulay in the last 3 games been challenged in a lot of ways. You know, we know that he can run the ball. His completion percentage has gone up. Had pretty good yards last week in the overtime loss. All those are baby steps in his development, small steps. This is another step right here. Can he kill a minute 31 with the lead? That's what a quarterback wants. The lead and a chance to end the football game.
Well, it's his team. 4th consecutive start. 1-5 on the year as a starter, trying to nail down his 2nd win. Behind Lombano, Robertson the run, and He won't reach the 30. Looks like forward progress will give him 4.
On the other hand, the Calgary Stampeders here, Chris, they finally get some field position. They get a cover team that gets down there and bottles up the Lions on the kick. They make a play here on 2nd and 5. Henry Burris has time with the football.
And a timeout called, which will have Lule go to the sidelines and confer on a critical 2nd and 5.
And this kind of situation, BC Lions, no matter who's been playing quarterback, have tried to find Geroy Simon. That has been difficult tonight.
1 catch for Simon on the final play of the first half. Second and 5. Almost offside. Lule scrambling, and McCune brings him down. 2nd sack of the night.
Calgary fans turned up the volume, and I think the communication broke down for Travis Lule here and the BC Lion offense, because they had some problems with motion. They had some problems with motion and with their snap cadence to try and get this ball snapped. Receivers were bouncing around the line. They weren't sure, and then the play broke down. Travis Lule just tried to get what he could.
So Chris Jones' crew comes up with a play they need. Clock running. McCallum going to use as much of it as possible as Murphy awaits. And around the Calgary 45-yard line. Snap with 2 seconds on the play clock. McCallum just got it away from the 40-60 on Murphy, crosses midfield. So Henry Burris and the Stamps offense have 50 yards to go, but they need a touchdown to win it.
And here is the ugly stat that hangs over Wally Buono's head in this football team. They are 1-6 this year in games that are decided by 7 points or less. It is a young team that has had trouble finding ways to close out games and finish games. Go back to that Winnipeg game. And here they go. They need to lean on their defense now.
First time Calgary started in BC territory in the game. 3-man rush, and Kenyon Rambo's got a big catch inside the 25-yard line. And suddenly the clock doesn't look like much of a factor.
The gap between linebackers and the secondary, too great here for the BC Lions on defense. Anton McKenzie tried to run underneath Kenyon Rambo. At the time he got his head around, it was too late, and Tad Crawford too far off.
Rambo 115 yards on 7 catches tonight. Short drop, a pump, and a wide open receiver. R.J. Franklin dropped the ball. He dropped the winning touchdown. He was too wide open.
It is a full moon over McMahon.
Did he look down to make sure he had a foot in?
R.J. Franklin with the pump fake that gets David Hyland.
Wow. Second and 10. Burris wants Nick Lewis incomplete as Lewis took a big hit at the goal line.
Tad Crawford steps up and responds, and it comes down to one play for Henry Burris. Burris had to regroup after watching his wide receiver R.J. Franklin flat out drop the go-ahead touchdown. He goes to his money guy and Nick Lewis, but watch Tad Crawford's timing on the hit. He's the guy who separates the ball from Lewis.
Great timing, but it almost looked like Lewis bobbled it before contact. In any event, the safety has to feel pretty good about himself right now, but he's got one more play. 3rd and 10. Burris scrambling around, now sets. Anybody home? Goal line picked off. BC's got the football, and they're going to win the game on an interception. interception by Anthony Reddick at the goal line with 14 seconds left.
Two things here for Henry Burris. One is Burris only needed 10 yards. He had time to run a couple of more plays. He did not have to go to the end zone on this third down play. Now he buys himself some time, and boy, does he have a lot of it all of a sudden. And then he tries to force it into double coverage. Tad Crawford over top, Anthony Reddick underneath. And I'm not sure what he's looking at, because if you see his sight lines, all he sees is white jerseys there. But all he needed was 10. He had time to run a couple of more plays.
Then again, he may have delivered a game-winning touchdown to two of his receivers on the previous two plays.
Well, you're right. And I mean, R.J. Franklin will walk over and say, don't worry about that one. You put one right on the money to me in the end zone. This game should have been over.
Well, the BC Lions are going to run out the clock. What a win for them. They're second in a row at McMahon. They are 6-10. And the heat now on the Edmonton Eskimos. You think back the last 8 games, but for a couple of overtime head scratchers, the Lions would be 7-1 in the last 8. They may make some noise yet. Of course, they've still got work to do to even claim a spot.
It's out of their hands, but this is a good start for the BC Lions. Puts the pressure on Edmonton tomorrow.
Well, a wild night, so it's one of the more memorable Friday night games of the year. And Wally Buono and the BC Lions go away with a win. Let's check the TSN turning point of a wacky game at McMahon.
Well, it went right down to the wire, and the TSN turning point in this game when Henry Burris, the game on the line and the seconds ticking away, as a wide open R.J. Franklin in the end zone. That ball is dropped. And then Burris on the final play offensively for Calgary goes to the end zone again, this time to Nick Lewis, who's double covered, and it's intercepted.
The TSN turning point is brought to you by Wendy's Baconator, the official hamburger of the CFL. So the Calgary Stampeders unable to nail down first place in the CFL West. Their record is now 11-5. And the BC Lions take a step forward with a big win here. They're now 6-10, and for the time being in third in the West. That's the story from McMahon. So long from Calgary.